Yeah, I think that goes back to all the CBRN specialists I've ever talked to have been like, if it's B, you're dead. We're not even going to talk about it.
Yeah. You can't develop a vaccine against a thing that you don't know.
You're listening to the Art and More podcast with your hosts, Nathan and BR. Nathan is a Canadian illustrator with a couple years of military experience, and BR is a British anarchist that moved to the States. Both are passionate shooters and community builders. Together, they run the CBRN art page. Enjoy the show.
I don't know why I count down to recording. I'm like 3, 2, 1, and then I hit the record button, and then it counts down. It's kind of redundant. Anyways, welcome back to the Art and War podcast. I'm joined here today with my good friend and shooting buddy, Frank. I guess I can dox you now. This is our second attempt to record this. Third attempt if you count yesterday, where our dogs were just freaking out the entire.
Yeah, dude. My after we came over, Dwight worn out Maple, and he went home.
She fell asleep.
And worn out our other dog and our other cat, and then he had a somewhat decent night of sleep, and still woke us up at 6 a.m. So
puppies be like that. Puppies, babies, kittens. We're dealing with that with a kitten right now. Anyways, tell us a little bit about yourself, and don't undersell yourself this time. You are 10 times more than what you said last time,
dude. Okay, last time I made a metaphor that this is like the janitor at the nuclear plant talking about quantum physics. Well, I guess I would be the guy that pushes buttons and look at the dials and gauges talking about nuclear physics from a lot of conversations that I've overheard in the lunchroom. I don't have a advanced degree, and all this stuff is at a undergrad 300 level. But yeah, I've got some backgrounds in somewhat molecular biology, some biochemistry. And I'm not going to get into the super, super nerdy stuff, like the Latin names and the protein name and all of that fun stuff. But yeah.
So here today, as many of you know, we started as the CBRN art, like chemical, biological, or radiation, and nuclear. Yeah. Today we're going to get a little bit into the biological aspect. The genesis of this episode, you and I were out the other day and we were just zeroing some guns and came back. And over dinner, we started talking about viruses and biological warfare. It's like the CBRN part, and we've had nuclear people on. We've had people, talk about preparedness for mustard gas or CS gas or irritants or radiation or whatever. It's pretty common when you hear about the CBRN thing. Biological means that we're all going to fucking die. There's no way to really protect yourself about it. Biological agents just fucking kill you. And it led us to having a 2-hour conversation or hour and a half or something like that. That felt like 10 minutes. I was just riveted the whole time, where we talked about basically the one thing that you said to me that kind of stands out in my head was imagine COVID. If it had a really serious, the transmissibility of COVID, because everyone fucking got COVID. It was the flu. Joe Biden got it. Fucking Trump got it. Everyone got it. I got it a bunch of times. The first time fucking sucked. Every time after that was I couldn't taste very much.
I think that speaks also to what you just mentioned, right? If there is something biological, and if these world leaders with access to the best containment and the medical team in the world, if they're not immune to it, if you're a grunt, you're fucked.
You're fucked. Dude, everyone is fucked. Imagine COVID, the transmissibility of COVID, but a long incubation time, a long transmissibility time, which I'm sure you could correct all of my terms, and a 50% mortality rate, or an 80% mortality, or a 5% mortality rate.
I think in a lot of ways, COVID was a drill for something serious, and the entire world, every single government, just got an F.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because you even look at the countries that really locked down, like China and other places, and everyone still got it anyway. I don't know what you do past you can't really take the mad cow approach where you just kind of take everything and you kill them.
Yes. By the way, that is to date basically the only method we have dealing with a animal disease outbreak is we just kill the animals. Like if one farm pops it, like this entire farm, every single animal goes to the incinerator. All the farm in like a 25-mile radius goes to an incinerator, and the government just like pay the farmer less than what the animal's worth in compensation, and hopefully that goes away. And if that doesn't work, we burn all the animals in a 100-mile radius.
Yeah. Like I remember last year or the year before that when there was that avian flu outbreak and all the eggs got really expensive. And I remember you had some stuff to say about that. I can't quite remember what it was.
Do not drink raw milk. Do not drink raw milk.
Oops.
So what we found is that we have found avian influenza, high-path avian influenza in milk samples. We found that in cows. We found that in the barn cats. We found that in the mice. We found that in some human. The funny thing is that we don't see them as prevalently in birds, funny enough.
Interesting. So the avian flu is kind of a misnomer.
Yes and no. The viruses began, basically, the way in is that they can go into birds' respiratory tract, right? Because they express a certain protein that we express less. The concern and the reason why everyone's freaking out about it is that, there's no guarantee that it will stay this way, right? Viruses mutate all the time and in ways that we cannot predict. If it jumps to a species that resembles human closer, like guinea pigs, that could be a big problem. But the is not overly concerned because, and this is why I say please do not drink raw milk, is that pasteurization eliminates avian influenza to a very, very, very high efficiency.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I know a lot of our listeners are, more naturally minded, but there are things that we've learned in the past 200 years that are just not worth it. Like to me, raw milk is one of the big ones, is that the potential immune benefit, the potential extras you get from raw milk is nowhere comparable to the risks that you take on. The salmonella, the E. coli, botulinum, and, now avian influenza.
Yeah. Something I've noticed about you is you've always been very protective of like your drinks.
Yes.
You wash your hands a lot.
One of the things that I've gotten really good at is finding expiration date on things.
Yes. Oh my God. I cleaned out my fridge the other day. And I'm not going to tell you how many 2024 labels I found, but it was at least 10.
Yeah. And there are things to be said, right? You'll see an expiration date on a bottle of bottled water, right? And this would probably 3 years down the road. That's
between us, I didn't know that bottles of water had expiration dates.
Yeah. I think anything that is sold to go into a human needs an expiration date. And I don't know this for certain, but yes, bottled water do have expiration dates. Now, how much of that is a suggestion versus say milk, right? You buy a jar of milk and it says consume within 14 days versus something like that, right? How much of the expiration date on the milk matters versus on a bottle of water? I feel like the more I work in this field, the more paranoid I get.
You've been mentioning things I remember the other day you were talking about how most of the companies that are in charge of kind of self-regulating it's kind of a wild west. There's a lot of regulations, but you can kind of weasel word your way into doing the loosest and fastest way possible, if I'm remembering correctly. And more or less the only thing that hasn't stopped us from going into a end of days Resident Evil style T-virus outbreak is basically luck and the better part of human nature.
So I think the second part I can definitely attest to. Everyone I met in this field has been some of the nicest people I've ever known. there's an archetype of, like, at least from my observation, of the shy, short, chubby girl with glasses. And like, that's not even a stereotype. That's just like what half of my coworkers. But yeah, no, I think what the characteristics of this field does not attract, psychopathic people who would try to use the technology for
Albert Wesker.
Yes, for their own gains. And even then, right, we can just accidentally create things that we didn't intend for.
Like, how do you mean?
Here, I actually got notes, and this is like, this is all documented and published research. Let me just make sure I got this right. So we've accidentally have given viruses, just in research of completely unrelated function, have enhanced their transmissibility.
Oh yes, gain of function.
Oh no, this is not intended. We were just like looking up things that has nothing to do with transmissibility, but like in the process, it became more transmissible as a side consequence that we weren't even looking for.
That's not fantastic.
No. I have a lot of notes on this.
Yeah, because I remember thinking back to COVID and the start of that, and all of those documents about gain of function research and making viruses more transmissible. And my initial thought, which is again uneducated, and you would actually have educated thoughts in regards to this, is why would you do that? Why?
Again, I would not speculate on the development of bioweapon by any entity, governmental or otherwise. But let's just assume we're studying influenza, right? We're studying why seasonal flu are so transmissible. And we find a protein that potentially leads to a suppressing of immune response, right? How do we test that? We either cut it out and see if it's less transmissible, or we put it in something to see if it's more transmissible, right? This is again, like totally legit medical research. But in order to research this, you have to take or give it things that it didn't have. And again, with a completely well-intended study, it does, like, there are things that were not unintended consequences. And I think this is also a part of the reason why this weren't talked as much, because these are not headlines that we can use, right? Like, think of the nuclear bomb. US drop bomb on Japan. 50,000 Japs dead. There is no headline to be written about these sort of research. Here's a fun title: Impact of SARS-CoV-2 ORF6 and its variant polymorphisms on host response and viral pathogenesis. What does that mean?
I have no fucking idea.
Exactly.
Please break that down for me. Translated
from the summary, from the abstract, is that previously we thought COVID has this mechanism to suppress the immune response. Well, there's more to it, and that's it.
Interesting.
Or another fun one. This is again COVID, because COVID is all the rage in this sort of research. SARS-CoV-2 ORF6 hijacks NUMP98 to block STAT nuclear imports and antagonize interferon signaling. What does that mean? You cannot expect a title like that to elicit a response in the general public, right?
No, not at all.
I just think that a lot of the very interesting and potentially very significant research, nobody talks about it because of things like this, is that we as scientists sucks at communicating this. We are trained to be careful with our words, to have everything we say stand up to, peer review. Whereas like the news media or other grifters, other influencers who are not under the same obligation. That's how, these influencers, they fly to Dubai, they fly to Mexico, they fly to these less regulated, area, and they get themselves like a experimental gene therapy, and they end up with sepsis and like, because I don't want to say they don't care about the consequence, but it's certainly less of a priority than them bolstering their fame and, their own income, right? Yeah. So, gosh, where was I? So Spanish flu, right? 1918 Spanish flu.
I remember about that. I read quite a bit about it during COVID. Funny enough, it was the
Yeah. So 20 years ago, CDC has reconstructed the Spanish flu from the viral RNA data extracted from a victim dead 100 years ago.
Interesting. This is kind of, again, one of those sort of like, we can, but should we moments. You
Yeah.
mentioned a while ago, too, that didn't they do similar with polio in 2002?
Oh, yeah, no, these are all old news now.
These are all what?
These are all old news. These are all 20-year-old technology. Nowadays, this is a part where I was, this entire time I wasn't trying to like spoil the episode to you, but you can now mail order complete viruses now.
Fucking what?
You can literally 3D print viruses now. You send a company the sequence that you want. They work their magic. I am not going to tell you how. And
that is something we can leave for not online.
And a few weeks later, you get a FedEx package with some vials of the thing that you want to be built. Yeah, that is all commercialized. That is all available to entities now. And well, of course, if you send these company a sequence of a known pathogen, they do have a library. They do check their work. They're not going to print you a bioweapon. But the technology exists now.
That is wild. And the fact that like, and I do think about it a lot, that nothing has really happened yet by a bad actor. Or you were mentioning like the idea that with a graduate level degree and access to a lab and the right resources, you can do some really awful stuff if you were like a bad actor.
Nathan, I will not entertain that idea on air.
Okay. Yes. I don't want to like give people instruction. I don't want to say like people can do this. Any government, because anyone who's doing this is like either megacorpo or state level. But I more want people to think about the fact that it can happen.
I think a good way to think about it is that, Resident Evil, right?
Yes.
Or any sort
Umbrella Corp.
Any sort of zombie movie. What if I tell you that technology, not only do we have already, we have something even better now.
Like, what do you mean?
Like just the efficiency of it and the precision of it. Now, with the technologies we have, we can edit single nucleus on a DNA sequence. That would be the overarching theme of what I've learned and what I'm reading up on, is that all the science fictions, all the, zombie movies, what was it, 28 Days Later? Because that's somehow been revived lately. Honestly, I think in terms of another world scenario, like a pandemic is, I think the flip side of that, biological creatures are resilient, right? We like, you see on the dish soap, right, kills 99.9% of bacteria, right? Like if something wipes out 99.9% of humanity, that is still 70 million people left alive and now resistant to this thing. To an individual and to society, like that could very well be what we legitimately consider an apocalypse. But like as a species, I don't want to say we should, I don't want to say we will, but as a species might not be the end of human being as a species, but human society, oh yeah.
Yes. I think that's very realistic. The idea of like a virus, any virus that has 100% transmissibility, you'd know more about it than me. But generally, there are people everywhere, even 1% of the population or 0.1% of the population. It's still a lot of fucking people.
Yes.
Have you seen the show Pluribus on Apple?
Yes. Dude, you told me about it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Dude, that show has been become one of my favorite. I just think that the entire time of the opening sequence, I'm like, don't build an alien virus, you fucking idiots.
Yeah,
don't build
immediately.
Why are you building an alien virus? Like, run that shit through a simulator first. Run that shit through, But yeah, that was a great show. And I think you read it so many different ways, right? Bravo, Vince. Yeah, and I think, the hive mind, I think that's also an allegory for AI, right? The collective of human knowledge becomes so in-person and cold. and they say it's joy, right? And all of them keep saying that, you will feel joy you could not even comprehend. But like you in turn become inhuman, right? You become a training data, essentially.
I never thought about it as being an allegory for AI. Like it didn't even cross my head. That makes so much sense.
No, right? Because the seventh person alive, well, boy, shit.
We should, for the people who probably most people haven't seen this show, without spoiling too much, they receive like the satellites pick up a signal sent from deep space that basically has a gene sequence. They synthesize it. It walks out of a lab, like on someone's foot or something, or like a rat infected with this virus bites someone, and it turns out that it's basically like a plague that turns everyone into a hive mind. A very benevolent hive mind, but still.
Yeah, and I think I almost think that benevolent is the wrong word. I think it's more of a, again, like AI model, right? If like when an AI tells you something, right, it's not considering the moral consequence of it. And I think maybe this is the part where the allegory doesn't match up one-to-one, because this hive mind is claiming themselves to be like the most like humanitarian, whereas AI, like they don't understand anything. They just predict what word comes next, most likely.
Yeah, they just kind of tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah, but like the consequence, I think, is very similar. Is that, do you volunteer yourself to be a part of the training data, right? And I think for a lot of people, yes, it would be an easier life. Like the girl in Peru, right? She volunteered to join the hive mind. And like the first thing,
I found that scene very creepy, where they go and do this whole like holistic ritual. And as soon as she converts, it turned out the whole thing was fake. They were placating her.
Yeah, like, okay, it's done. The girl as a person is gone. And now it's like the girl as a training data, as, an interface. And yeah, no, I love that show. How that scene ends where she was letting go of her most precious pet goat. That like fucked me up. Oh.
As soon as it ends and she's part of the training data, everyone just walks away.
Yeah, there's no meaning in that anymore, right? The goat means nothing to the hive mind.
And yeah, that creeped me the hell out. It was very good. I really like everything Vince Gilligan does. I liked Breaking Bad. I liked Better Call Saul. Anyways, we could go on about the media all day, but the important thing is if you get a mysterious gene sequence transmitted to you from deep space, don't synthesize it and inject it into rats. Just don't do that.
No. We don't even know what organisms that we know intimately through and through. We still find new use. We still find new functions for the things that are in it. I don't know if you heard of the CRISPR technology.
Tell me. The CRISPR.
Yeah. Basically is a gene editing tool. So it came from one of the best categorized bacteria there is. Like it's a model organism. Well, in the sense that, it's something that we know, or we think we know intimately. We use it as basically a baseline for studies, right? So yeah, it came from, I can't remember if it's an E. coli, but what CRISPR protein does is that it is supposed to be sort of an immune system for the bacteria. What it is that, if this bacteria has been infected with the virus before, it will retain a piece of that virus DNA or RNA. Basically, it feeds into a protein that does, how should I explain this? Basically, this protein look for this specific code, and when it finds this code, it would jam a line of nonsense next to it, so that when the machineries go to use this code, it will basically return a bug, right? It's inserting a bug into the virus genome. What we've somehow figured out to do is that instead of inserting a bug, what if we make it insert something that we program, something that's supposed to be a feature?
Like how do you mean?
It's breaking it off, inserting a line of, for the lack of a better term, is inserting a line of code, right? Think of software. a normal bacteria, this line of code would just be gibberish. What we figure out how to do is instead of letting it insert a line of gibberish, we let it insert a line of functional code that adds some feature that we've determined instead.
So for what sort of features?
Anything you want, like whatever protein you wanted to express, whatever function you wanted to do, we can do it. It's really creepy if you think about it, is that we know how to read this code, but we don't know what it does. That's, I think, what a geneticist and bioinformatic is trying to figure out next is we can sequence. Oh, dude, I think you might be old enough to remember this. I certainly remember this. In like younger years, there's this Human Genome Project.
I remember that.
Yeah. So back in the day, right, in Clinton's days, Bush's days, right, Human Genome Project was a big thing, right? We are mapping out the human genome. We will know how like every protein in every human works.
Yeah, that just kind of went away one day.
Yeah, you know why?
Why?
Because the technology to sequence the entire human genome has gone down 500,000 times cheaper than it was in 2001.
Interesting. So anyone can do it now?
Well, you still need like $500,000 machine.
Yes.
But to basically the project was projected to cost $100 million in 2001. Nowadays, we can sequence the entire human genome for $200.
$200?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Dude, what do you think 23andMe is?
I assumed something to steal your data, but yes.
Right?
They're selling people's genetic information.
Yeah, like they charge $249 to tell you your ancestry. Right? What do they do that? They sequence your sample and find certain markers for certain race of what? Oh my God, this just took a wild turn.
Yeah, 23andMe, I've always thought was kind of evil, and I hope that none of my immediate relatives have done it.
No, I'm more thinking about we just implied that different races have like different, which 23andMe is like, you know, they sequence data and they find biomarkers associated to, I'm not going to use the word race. Let's cut all of that previous part out. Yeah,
but it's also true. That's how you find out you're like 2% Mongolian or whatever.
Yeah, characteristics, right? You know, why Asians have small eyes, why you white people stink. You know, it is a fact that East Asians have less
body odor.
Yeah. Right. That is known. Yeah, that's what 23andMe is, right? The technology that it takes to decode genetic is so available, and that now we're struggling to understand. Like, we have all this data, we just don't know what most of it means. And it's really amazing that what we thought was gibberish actually becomes like useful in other parts. But like, if something goes wrong, you'll grow cancer. So yeah, it's just so fascinating.
You brought something up the other day, like the whole tailoring, the possibility that if, you know, a nation was crazy enough to do this, tailoring viruses to affect certain races.
Is it technologically possible? Maybe. With most biological agents, right? It's like, once it's out of the bag, you can't take it back. And once it's out of the bag, you lose control of what it might turn into.
Which we saw that with COVID. How many times does that mutate towards before?
Right.
And it's still just around. It's just the flu now.
Right. And that's another tricky thing with these microorganisms, is that the smaller they are, the less stable they are, and the more they mutate, and they might go directions that you didn't intend, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely directionless. If one of these things did end up getting out there, I would imagine it's one of two things, one being a lot more likely than the other. The less likely one is kind of like a Samson protocol doomsday scenario, where just like a hostile nation is just like, fuck it, screw it. You know, the person at the top says we got to release this, we're just going to do that. Like, just you get the wrong psychopath in the wrong place in the wrong time with the wrong kind of power. That is a lot less likely than a lapse in safety protocol and something walks out attached to someone's shoe.
Boy, I am trying really hard to not like talk about shit that would get me a visit from Homeland Security.
Yeah, don't be like, hey, do this. Just explain to people like safety protocols that should be followed. I don't want this to be an instructional. I don't want anything to be like, yes, how you do biological warfare.
No, absolutely not.
I just want people to be aware of like
again, I need to preface that I don't know how it is done. I genuinely do not know how the technology works. I just know that it exists. Not even like the technology for like bioweapon. I just know that we can manipulate genomes in viruses and bacteria. For what end, that is up to whoever's using it to decide.
Because I think it would be silly to say that like governments, and probably like a lot of first world governments, have some sort of bioweapons program, whether it's studying them or developing, like going back on old what's declassified documents of bioweapons programs. We had some really, really scary stuff. I bet they never 100% went away, if at all.
Well, no, because didn't you hear? I can't remember which president signed an act that we are now we have gotten rid of all of our offensive bioweapon capability, and that we are definitely not doing that anymore.
Definitely not. I trust.
No,
never. We give up a like a doomsday device or like a T-virus scenario. No, we're responsible. We'd never do something like that. I trust everything every president says.
Yeah, Nixon administration in the 60s and 70s, they have completely stopped development and research in offensive bioweapons, and now the Fort Detrick is purely and strictly a defensive biological research facility.
Well, I think like the idea of like a biological weapons program and a biological like testing facility, the difference is in branding.
In order to study how to counter something, you must have the thing itself.
Yes.
Right? And I'm not going to go into any more detail than that.
Yeah. No, that is very fair. That is very fair. I'm worried about like the possibility of it. And it would be naive of me to say like we should not study these sorts of things. Especially, right now, here I am kind of like, yeah, any asshole, awful nation could do this. And I don't want to talk about it much more than that. But I would be worried. Also, I've played too much Resident Evil. I've played way too much Resident Evil. Like,
yes, Umbrella Corp. Yes, that is totally a fictional entity that will never exist.
Companies aren't evil.
No way. I'm looking at like all these big pharma companies, and like it's hard to find one to work for that hasn't committed crime against humanity in the past, either knowingly or unknowingly.
Oh my god, I want to pick your brain on this. Like I want to know who did what. Like I did a deep dive a little while ago about like the banana companies and like Nestle and all of that. I want to know about the big pharma.
Oh boy, where should I even begin? That heroin was first derived as basically a magic painkiller that is supposed to also cure morphine addiction, right?
I did not know that. I knew about cocaine. Like cocaine was marketed for like its health benefits and make the baby stop crying kind of thing. But I didn't know that about heroin.
Yeah. Who was it? Bayer, I think, was the company that came up with it. And again, please fact check.
Like Bayer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah. They're big. They're massive.
History. Yes, it was synthesized by Bayer first.
Whenabouts was that? Because I know like opium and other sort of like heroin adjacent things were around for hundreds of years.
Oh, heroin was first synthesized in like the 1870s.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's not a new thing.
It's not new.
No. So that was biopharmaceutical,
which is older than I thought they were.
Yeah. And I think any like with car manufacturers, any German pharmaceutical giants nowadays that existed in World War II built chemical weapons for the Nazis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Definitely don't ask what they did during from 1939 to 1945.
Yeah. Which is funny because the Nazis didn't really end up using them.
Well, they were not in the battlefield because, again, this is not like we mentioned in the past, right? A lot of these CBRN agents, the problem is not efficacy. The problem is control.
Yes. And that was a big problem during World War I with mustard gas and everything else.
It's like, wind direction changes. Now our troops are all breathing in the mustard gas.
But that's interesting. I want to know about the list of other companies that just did awful things.
Another good example that I can think of right on top of my head, what was it? Female birth control. The development process was that they found a rudimentary formula because, like, female birth control is just a, for the lack of a better word, endocrine disruptor, as as our audience may know it, right? Is to tell you to not ovulate. So what they did is that they've had a rudimentary formula, and they gave a bunch of indigenous women elsewhere in the world this drug without telling them the potential side effect, because we're just trying to find out. Like, so many things that would have never been allowed to go on market was developed with undeclared, just extremely unethical human experiment.
That tracks. All of that tracks.
Yeah. But yeah, again, female birth control is a good one. Like the the short-term side effect, right? Mood swings, to like potentially the longer term stuff.
Yeah, like osteoporosis or other things.
Yeah. And like, I just find it interesting that, you know, in like gym bros and recreational lifters, like they talk about, you know, steroid is bad for you, like, you know, test and trend and all that shit is bad for you, which they are, but like, that's what female birth control is. And like, millions of women take it by the mouth every day, and like, nobody seemed to care.
Yeah, or the injections or the patches.
Yeah, like, look, how does that make sense?
I read a little while ago about the U.S. government specifically, and you may know more about this, and if not, maybe we just let the listeners look it up themselves.
I have no knowledge of any classified information from any government or entities.
It's declassified, thank you very much. It was the U.S. government's experiments on, it's like poor Black communities, infecting them with syphilis.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of that's like one of the more well-known ones.
Yeah, I read a book about it. Like a fiction book where, I don't know, like all the heroes went in and they killed all the crazy doctors and the so-and-so. The big reveal was, oh, it was the U.S. government all along. I read that book when I was a kid. I remember very specifically one of them had a shotgun with a duckbill choke on it, so he could like shoot up a whole room at a time. It was like revenge action fantasy. I thought it was fucking dope. But I don't know a lot about what actually happened.
I am not 100% sure on that one as well, but I know that it was a thing, and that we learned a lot about what like the disease progress is. You know, if we think about it, this is basically what if Unit 731 actually cared about science?
Which we should probably also tell people about Unit 731. A lot of people will have heard of it, but it's horrifying stuff.
Yeah. So basically, a bunch of Japanese psychopaths who are also high-ranking in the military set up a unit in northeastern China.
At the time, China and Japan were at war.
Yeah, they, you know, then at the time known as Manchuria, the puppet state. So what they do is that they get all these Chinese and Korean war prisoners and civilians that they captured, and they just like, what if we give people the Black Plague? What would happen? The guy died in agony. Shocker.
Cool, let's do it again.
Yeah. Or what if we expose a man's arm in like a frozen condition and just watch it slowly freeze to a popsicle, and we like shatter it with a hammer? Or another one, I fact check me on this if I'm wrong. The way that we found out that human is 75% water is that they literally just like put people in oven, basically dehydrated them and weighed them before and after.
That is fucking horrifying.
Yeah, no, this is all documented. And
yeah, no, it's not only is it documented, but I think a lot of the we poached a lot of the scientists after the war.
So this is I think an equally fucked up part is that after the war, the US basically offered them immunity from the Tokyo trial in exchange for the research.
Yeah, same thing happened with the Nazi scientists that worked in the V2 rockets. They went on to work on Operation Paperclip. Same general thing.
Yeah. And a lot of these people went on to build the foundation of modern Japanese pharmaceutical industry.
That is horrifying.
Yeah.
Which my mind jumps back to what you were saying before, which is like the reason nothing bad has happened, a lot of that is like the people that work in the ground level and the people who get into this industry are like generally good, normal people.
Yeah.
Probably not the people at the top, because there are a lot of fucking scandals.
Here's another thing, right? Gene therapy, stem cell therapy have legitimate therapeutical use in their turn, right? The ability to, like all these people talk about, where the stem cell therapy, where it kind of helps you regenerate like organs that fails, that is good. That saves people. But like, first of all, shit like this, you know what else grows uncontrollably? Cancer.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of these therapy, gene therapy and stem cell therapy walk the line between like, if you do it wrong, it gives you cancer. And again, maybe that's a risk that desperate people would take.
Oh, 100%.
Or there are research into how to utilize the mechanism of HIV as a vector to administer gene therapy for the immune system.
Fucking what? Elaborate.
So like HIV, right? What they do is that they replicate within, T cells. And because of that, you lose a lot of immune function. And like from a very high level, this is what is essentially HIV does, is that it grows and infects immune cells and replicate itself and weaken its function. So you die from something that normal people come into contact every day and have no effect on them. So what this technology does is that since we know that HIV can get into immune cells, what if we take that mechanism and give it another message? And
That's actually interesting.
Yeah, we take that mechanism, we let it carry something else. And this is a massive field in research. It's a vector gene therapy, right? It's that we know like all these fun stuff. Respiratory disease, right? We use that to administer gene therapy for cystic fibrosis because, these cells can infect your respiratory tract. Well, let's make sure that, first of all, they're no longer pathogenic, and then we let them carry a message. We let them carry the cure into these respiratory cells. So, but like, you can see how this can go wrong, right?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, there are also vector therapies that tries to treat leukemia, where basically it tries to insert the correct gene into these malfunctioning body parts, right? And like I just said, these are legitimately life-saving technologies. You see how this can go wrong.
Elaborate. Give us a nightmare scenario of it going wrong.
Like we just said, individually, like cancer, right? If it's like, oops, we messed up, this is now expressing too much, now the doctor just gave you cancer. I can't tell you any of the nightmare scenario on air.
T-virus on the air. Got to save that one for dinner.
Yeah, probably. The nightmare scenario is, for the intent of this episode, the nightmare scenario is just Resident Evil. It's a video game.
I was going to say the video game or the movies. It goes in two very different directions.
I think the video game.
Okay.
The movie kind of went into it doesn't know what it wants to be.
No, God no. Well, the whole thing was like a Mila Jovovich vehicle directed by her husband.
Yeah.
Apparently she's a very talented programmer.
Really?
Yeah, she released and forgive me, I'm not a coder. Someone is going to listen to this and call me a retard. She has a GitHub, and she and another coder released together what seems to be a program to locally store AI memory for your own learning language models. And apparently it's quite good. Basically, like, you don't have to burn tokens for your local AI to remember things. Like it
Interesting.
It's a new system to so-and-so. I am not technologically apt.
I think I told you about the genetically edited human babies that a crazy Chinese scientist did, right?
I saw him. I barely use Twitter, but I follow his Twitter because it's hilarious.
Yeah. Somehow he got out of prison and just schizo-posting on Twitter now.
He is a Resident Evil scientist. There's no two ways around it. He is a crazy man.
Yes.
All of his posts are like, history will vindicate me. The first country to adopt my technology will win the edited baby superhuman race. Like, all of his takes are absolutely insane and wonderful.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have Twitter, but I follow him.
I saw him posted something like, it is possible to depopulate the subcontinent of India in 48 hours?
Okay, yeah, we need to import this man. Give him money.
Hey, this is his opinion, all right? I have my own opinion that I'm not going to share on air.
Yes. I'm allowed to. I have jester's privilege. You ever play Mass Effect?
No.
Well, there's a virus that's released upon like this spacefaring race of like warmongering orcs, essentially, called the genophage, and it basically makes them all sterile.
Oh, like what we're doing with mosquitoes.
Yes. Wait, we're fucking what?
Yeah, so we're genetically engineering mosquitoes to be sterile.
No, I did not know that.
Oh yeah, so basically what we're doing is that we are genetically engineering mosquitoes in the lab to make them sterile.
I'm sure this isn't going to backfire on us somehow.
We are mass releasing these sterile mosquitoes to disrupt the natural breeding cycle of mosquitoes. Basically, we will flood the market with these, like, what's the word, like a soy chud mosquito, so that they become the more prevalent than the wild type, and the female mates with them, and nothing comes of it. And we try to control mosquito population that way.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I understand why, like, on a practical standpoint, and I fucking hate mosquitoes. But at a certain point of, like, why are we playing God this much?
Oh, here's an even funnier thought. Malaria, the infamous third world disease. Again, that's something that government tell you to get a vaccine for if you're traveling to, like, Cameroon or some, like, South American shithole. With the way that our climate is going right now, mosquitoes are going to start to go further and further north.
Yes, I've noticed, like, ticks too.
Uh-huh.
I was a very outdoors child. Like, I spent most of my my childhood and a lot of my, like, early adulthood outdoors, and I never saw a tick. Not once. Never had to pull them off me. Never had to check for myself. Now they're everywhere. Like, I'll go into the woods for an hour. Or, like, I'll go to, there was a range that had a lot of slate. Like, it was a lot of rock. Barely any tall grass, nothing like that. I'd stay on the roads and I'd come back and find 5 ticks on me. I'd find them for the next few days.
Oh, dude, have you gotten bitten by ticks?
I've never had one latch for long. Like, I've never had one break the skin. I very much, I will quadruple check myself for ticks, especially on the East Coast. Out here, we don't really have Lyme to deal with, but, you know.
For now.
It's a low chance, but never zero. Yeah. For now. I think on the East Coast, it's something like 30% of ticks carry Lyme disease, maybe more.
Yeah, and that brings an interesting... Oh, yeah, heartworm is spreading north as well for dogs.
Interesting.
Yeah, usually, like, I was talking to my vet about this, because usually, like, heartworm isn't as much of a risk around this area as it is in the southern states. But with the way that climate is going, we are seeing heartworms further and further north.
I was going to say, like, every year it gets warmer. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, we need to stop driving cars. It's like, no, I like it warm. I'm going to get a Humvee. Fuck you. I'm going to pollute more, actually, but never litter. No littering.
I think just, like, from a 30,000 foot perspective, right? Billions of barrels of shit that was supposed to be buried underground, and we just, like, burn it up. Like, do you think that's not going to have consequence?
Yeah, no, of course. It's wild. And, like, cat's out of the bag. What's happening is happening. I'm sure, again, someone's going to be like, oh, you know, you're just a defeatist. We need to do something drastic now. It's like, all right, I guess destroy every vehicle and get rid of every government and corporation all at the same time. Like, both east and west, just all of it. It's like, no, maybe find some property that's far away from the sea, I guess. Also for the incoming viral apocalypse, because Umbrella Corp is real. It's silly. It's silly. I know some people even now are like, oh no, it's just cyclical. And maybe, you know, it is cyclical, maybe not. A lot of us are old enough to remember, like, winter when I was young, and winter, like, when I was an adult is not like winter we have now.
Right.
Dude, like, look at where we live in the winter we had.
Yeah.
Like this year, then the last year, and the year before that, and the year before that. Like,
we had no winter.
Yeah, we didn't.
Like, when did you move here? Like, what, 2022, something like that?
Yeah, like, we had like a week of snow tops that was scattered out. Like, last year it was quadruple this. The year before that it was quadruple that.
I remember, I think 2023 winter was like in the negatives, and this year I barely need to bring out my puffer jacket.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I barely wore. I did not bring out a winter jacket all winter. Like I wore windbreakers with like a sweater under. Like, it never got cold enough.
Here's an interesting part, right? Think about all these tropical diseases. Think of Ebola.
Oh man, Ebola scares the hell out of me.
Well, it's like the problem with Ebola is that it's too deadly. You get it?
Yeah, it kills people before it actually has a chance to transmit.
You get a fever, you start bleeding out of your eyes and your nose and your ears and your penis, and like you get put into 3 layers of plastic wrap around you. And as long as
you start flailing around to kind of splash the bloodborne pathogen everywhere.
Right. And like the entire family of hemorrhagic fever virus is not, they're too violent.
Yeah, a virus won't transmit very well if it immediately kills the host.
Right. But like, just think about all these distant diseases that we thought were, oh yeah, that's like Africa, it's so far away, that's South America, Brazil, we're in the US, it's not going to happen to here. It will. It's going to happen. It's going to get warmer. The environment's going to exist where these viruses could potentially become transmissible. And like one day you're going to see like, first case of this in Florida, and then first case of this in Georgia, and then the first case of
first case of this in Maine, New York.
Yeah.
I can see that. I can actually see that. Like, what scares the shit out of me?
Yeah.
Rabies. Not necessarily the transmissibility of it, just the idea that something like that exists. And, the obviously, like the vector in which it's transmitted isn't super easy.
No. The thing is, just don't get bit by things.
Yes. The cheat code is do not get bit. I found a raccoon in a trap the other day, and no, that thing did not want me anywhere near it.
No, if something like a coyote or a raccoon that is usually a very shy and docile creature like a fox, just like wander around in broad daylight acting funny, like you walk up to it.
Funny you mentioned that. Remember that fox?
Yeah, right?
Yep. That fox that was just not afraid of us, just hanging out yesterday.
I think that's like, when something's acting weird, right? Like you know a zombie when you see one, right? But like, yeah, if an animal's acting funny, run. Like, get your dog away, get yourself away, and just run and call the animal control.
Yeah, that fox just looked like he was chilling. He was just hanging out. He was like a neighborhood dog kind of thing.
Right. How much do you know about prion diseases?
They scare the shit out of me for a very long time. You know that question some people ask each other, like, what's the fucking worst way to die? And my answer for a long time, and probably still is Kuru, which is the fatal insomnia that occurs because of prion disease, which, genetic factors or cannibalism or, whatever other transmission vector you use.
Yep.
Kills you very slowly over the course of months, but you can't sleep. Your brain rots away while you are alive and conscious, and it takes months. Sorry, continue. I didn't mean to.
Yeah. No. And like, to think that all of that comes from a funny shaped protein.
Yeah, it's a protein unable to fold correctly, I think.
Yeah, it's the chemicals are the same, but because of some interactions, it was shaped differently. And somehow it just starts a cascade of reactions, creates a hole in your brain, and like all of your neurons melts into a soup.
Yeah, and this happens while you're still alive.
Yes.
There's no cure, there's no treatment, there's nothing. They generally, your last few weeks on this are basically in a bed in a hospital, conscious as you take micro naps that don't actually rest you, as your brain literally rots away inside your skull. Remember you ever see the movie The Book of Eli?
This is just gonna be an episode of you telling me horror stories that I haven't heard of. No.
Oh yeah, no, it's not a horror movie. It's it's Denzel Washington, I think. It's a movie about like, and it ends up being like a Christian allegory. It's about a guy just like traveling across the post-apocalyptic wasteland, and there's cannibal tribes, and one of the ways that they can recognize cannibals is their hands shaking like uncontrollably. Which, is a symptom of Kuru, which you get through cannibalism, which is a prion disease.
Interesting.
Yeah, just a little tidbit, a little something.
I need to go watch that.
It's
sounds
a
like
good
fun.
movie. I enjoy it. It's kind of a popcorn flick. But yeah, no, I think it's specifically eating infected brain tissue, if I remember right, which you'd think would be pretty easy to avoid, but I don't know.
Have you heard of chronic wasting disease?
Yeah, for deer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a cull going on right now for like wasting deer, or like there's a couple places where you have to take them in.
Yes. So obviously, deers are not usually, eating each other, right? But this protein mainly comes from the environment. It can stay active for years
Really?
in soils and vegetations.
Fucking hate that.
Yeah,
Reminds me of
and
anthrax.
hmm?
Reminds me of anthrax, which is a spore. It's not a
Yeah, man, you keep bringing up things that I don't want to or can't talk on air, dude.
Okay, well, we won't talk about anthrax. We won't talk about that. But we will talk about chronic wasting disease. Sorry, go on.
Yes. So now currently we do not have evidence that is transmissible to human, but again, it's A, very devastating to the deer population, and B, we don't want the possibility that it may one day transmit to human, right? So, and that's, I think, I lost my train of thought. Never mind.
No, you're okay. You're okay. Yeah, it's not transmissible to humans yet. Asterisk.
What other nightmares do you want to get?
I live on a steady diet of nightmare fiction. You know that. Have you ever heard about Operation Sea Spray?
I have not.
It's a U.S. You should look it up. It's a U.S. experiment in the 1950s where they basically misted San Francisco with a bacteria to see the transmissibility. Like they're preparing for a bioweapon, whatever the government usually says when they do something heinous. And this got classified for a really long time. A bunch of people died. Like a bunch of people went to the hospital with a mysterious urinary tract infection, and some of them just fucking died. And this is declassified. It makes me think about like what the fuck is going on now.
I'm just going to say it. So imagine if you know that there are nerve agents that are two parts, right? Like VX. That's what was used to kill Kim Jong-nam.
Kill who?
Kim Jong-nam, Kim Jong-un's big brother.
Yeah, I forgot he was assassinated.
Yeah. It's such a funny story. The story was that two, I think, Malaysian girls were recruited to film like a prank video. And the prank video was that, hey, smash like bystander with this like wet handkerchief in the face and like record their reaction. And they did like a few tapes where like they just did that like a smash of wet tissue paper to people's face. So when Kim Jong-nam appeared, the quote unquote director for this program instructed these two young women, hey, that guy looked like he could use a prank. Go do that. And he gave one girl part A for the nerve agent VX, and he gave another girl part B of VX. So one girl smashed him in the face with part A, and the second girl came over and smashed his face with part B.
Oh man, that's horrifying. I think we can talk about it if you want. I looked this up, and all of this is on Wikipedia. We're like, yeah, this sort of research should not be done, but we both know someone's fucking doing it.
Yeah, like, think about it, right? Humankind first, achieved power flight in 1903. And then we invented bombers, 10 years later, right? We figure out, quantum physics in, 1920s? First atomic bomb, 1945. And you're telling me that we have the ability to manipulate the source code for all life on Earth, and somehow nobody is doing anything bad with it.
We haven't made a genophage. We haven't made just tailored plagues or anything like that. I would worry that I always assume that cooler heads kind of prevailed during the Cold War. They prevailed during the nuclear arms race. The worry about it, and it kind of comes back to what you said, is so uncontrollable. And we have had all these lab leaks. We have had all these little we looked at it after the fact, and it turned out that laboratory standard protocol was not followed. It's okay, there's a non-zero possibility we'll be saying that from the wasteland as people you ever play Chronos: The New Dawn?
Yes.
Yeah, just turn into a hive mind of flesh. Good fucking game. Good game.
Yeah. And I think a lot of these post-apocalyptic games focus on what happens afterward. It would be funny if I think to myself, wouldn't it be funny if we have a game about what happens during? But then I remember Plague Inc.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Really, it's making a little
fucking
bit of
Iceland, dude. right? It's like in the game, like Iceland is always like the last country to be infected because they just shut down airports, shut down trade.
Yeah, and they're an island nation with they're a small island nation without a lot of ingress points.
Yeah, but dude, I played so much of that game when I was in middle school.
That was a fun fucking game.
Yes, like another scary part about bioweapons is that no matter where it comes from, the response will always be reactive.
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
Like say, right, nuclear bombs come down, right? But we can build all these bunkers. We can stockpile all these radiation medicine. We can stockpile all these, safe water or whatnot. Chemical weapon, you put your mask on, things like that. You invest in like water purification infrastructure.
Yeah, you can have the infrastructure beforehand. You can plan and have protocols beforehand.
You cannot prepare for a thing that doesn't even exist yet. You cannot.
Which could be radically different.
With biological warfare, you cannot predict what's gonna come.
Yeah, I think that goes back to all the CBRN specialists I've ever talked to. Have been like, if it's B, you're dead. We're not even going to talk about it.
Yeah, you can't develop a vaccine against a thing that you don't know.
Yeah. Hell, like if the last few years have told us anything, you can barely develop a vaccine against a thing you do know.
Oh, dude, the entire program of COVID vaccine, I think, is an insult to the vaccine as a platform, as a technology, as a concept.
Yes, I think it's put back like trust in the idea of vaccines back 20, 30 years.
Things like vaccine against rabies, smallpox,
polio.
Yeah. These are like legitimate technologies that have done massive good to the world. The fact that we were able to like eradicate smallpox as a human being, that's like an insane achievement because of vaccine and vaccination and biotech advancement. And then COVID happened. And then we like released this half-baked project for political points. And like when we were essentially using the population as a clinical trial, like people might not have seen the result that we wanted, or might not have. I'm not even going to go into side effects because these are again speculations. But like now that we're questioning if we should vaccinate our children against like preventable illnesses that we have a reliable defense against, I think from someone who works in the field, it's kind of sad.
Yeah, no, I can understand how.
Yeah. You know that NAS3 like super spicy 5.56, 100,000 PSI, 3,500 feet per second out of an 11.5 barrel, right? You know that
bimetal stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Badlands, 125,000 PSI.
Yeah. I'm totally not going to blow up your regular 5.56 bolt. Like that whole debacle, right? And like I even mentioned this in Discord, like the people that get hurt the most are the people that actually are genuinely working on making this into something that is actually effective, like behind all this marketing hype. I think it's really sad that because of this, right back to the beginning, I think as a test, the entire world has failed. Because of it, I think the public is losing trust, and rightfully so, with the institutions. I think what was done during this period is unfair to the people that are actually working on it.
And it kind of goes back to what you were saying again in the beginning. It's like the people on the ground, the people who are in the positions like the one you're in, are generally good people.
Yeah. No, the personalities that draw someone into like this field, it's not the type that would try to use this to hurt people. It's when we turn this into a political project. It's when we turn this into a
brownie points. Well, everything in politics is just that. After a certain level, the people involved with it just don't care. Everything is lining your pockets and your friends' pockets, and at best and at worst, it's outright evil.
Yeah. And I think we this entire time we tried to stay away from the actual bioweapon side of things. If you think about it, COVID has now indeed became a bioweapon. It's a biological agent that these governments are weaponizing, not as a pathogen, but as a political tool.
I believe that. It ended up just being more gay culture war bullshit.
Yeah, and like the disease itself at some point became secondary.
It's more your reaction to said disease as opposed to, anything that keeps people squabbling as opposed to, paying attention to the fact that billionaires and politicians fuck kids and eat them also. Yeah, still can't get over that part. Hopefully I never get over that part.
Yeah, I think, I am not gonna.
I had a conversation with one of my British friends today. And she's an author I'm doing a book cover for, and she she knows I'm into guns. She knows I'm into all this stuff. She's like, somehow Trump came up, and I think I just like made a pedophile politician joke, and she's like, oh, well, I thought you were a Trump supporter. I'm like, no, what fucking made you say that? And she's like, and we got into the conversation. I'm like, yeah, I don't think, no matter what side of the political aisle you sit on, it doesn't necessarily mean you support or detract from anyone. You stand by your principles first. And it doesn't matter if he agrees on me with literally everything, which the idea of like the dichotomy of, oh, you don't like him, you must be left wing, you must be so and so. And I feel like I bring this up a lot, but it kind of bothered me that she was so surprised. It's like, our social group. Our social group primarily leans like right-wing conservative Christian gun owners. And how many of them like Donald Trump? No one. I don't know anyone under 45 years old.
Yeah, this is going to be going off topic, but like you mentioned, our friend group and our listener base is a lot of very, Bible reading, conservative people.
I mean, it goes both ways, but primarily I think like it would skew 2/3 that way.
Right. And the famous quote by Nietzsche that God is dead and we have killed him. A lot of people say that, he's like a Satanist that denies Christ and all of that stuff. I think there's a deeper reading into that. What he, at least from my interpretation and what I've been reading, is that God is dead and we have killed him. To him means that we have replaced the function of God with our own creation of a plastic God. Back in the days, right, before Enlightenment, the church and the religion offered people the what, the why, and the how, right? Why the world it is? Because God. Why do you exist? What is meaning of life? To serve God, to get into heaven, to live according to the Bible. As like Enlightenment came in, right, we found a better explanation on how. We found science, right? Like we replaced this abstract director of the world with something that we can incrementally, slowly, but humanly possible to understand. Again, example, germ theory. Like before then it's just, bad air in the world, or you sinned. It's like punishment from God. But then we found out, wait a second. If Louis Pasteur's experiment, right? He boiled a pot of beef broth, and basically one bottle he put a stopper on and the other bottle didn't. And lo and behold, the bottle that he didn't put a stopper on grew things. So like through this process, we found a tool that we can understand to explain the how. The problem becomes where we try to use that tool to explain how, and we try to use that to explain why. Where we try to take this scientific understanding, this scientific method, and we view that to the key to all of our problem, to our spiritual problem.
Yes, and that does not work.
No, it does not work. Science cannot tell you why you exist, because this line of thinking inevitably leads to nihilism. If you keep asking why with science, all you're going to get is random chance, because 113 billion years ago in a underground volcanic sprout, two molecules just so happen to run into each other. That's the best we got. That's not a very satisfying answer, is it?
No.
So we start looking, so things of our creation then starts to try to fill that vacuum. I think this is the origin of what many call the political religion.
Yes. I've read some books about that I've actually brought up quite a bit in the idea that, and for a lot of listeners, this is going to be beating a dead horse, but the idea that political parties' biggest voting bases are usually each other, like in terms of getting activists, not like getting voters necessarily, but it's young people who feel abandoned and need meaning.
Yeah.
It's people who are, looking for something greater.
Yeah, like we said, we stop religion participation goes down because, hey, this thing isn't doing all the things that we as humans want, right? We start looking elsewhere. And like, say, an example of a young person, their parents are millennials. They're not churchgoers. They're absent. And these people start asking questions like, why am I here? Why do I feel like shit all the time? And then someone tells them, yeah, that's right. And those people are the problem. And
the otherization and the weaponizing into creating a common enemy.
yeah, there are people they're built different, right? They can look at nihilism and say like, fuck you, that is no way to live. I will create my own values, my own principles according to like my beliefs. This is what Nietzsche envisioned the Übermensch to be, right? Is the man who is strong enough to create his own reason to exist, will to power. But like, what about people who are not capable of this? What about people who, I don't want it to sound like, there's a hierarchy of like you're just weak, you're Untermensch, you're incapable. But like, there are people who needs the comfort of knowing what that their existence has meaning. And when they don't go to church and when they don't read philosophy and they have no positive role model in their life, they turn into political religion.
Yes, and there's so much of it, so fucking much of it. I feel very happy to not live in a city anymore. Here, we have friends with personalities that don't radicalize themselves on the internet, go and touch grass. For the huddled the huddled masses who exist on Uber Eats and don't have friends apart from maybe Saturday D&D, which I'm not even shitting on. I think that's fucking dope. I think those people are more put together than most city people. I do agree. People try and find meaning in the silliest things, and politics is a very easy and accessible way. And I do believe that it has been weaponized. I do.
And like, who's to say that a religious war doesn't break out between, the two different political religion, right? Look at how each side talk to each other.
Yeah, and it's getting worse. It really is. I do think that the overall, like the Overton window in what is acceptable speech has pushed so far. And I'm sure that people have said this all sorts of times throughout history. But there's certain things where it's like, this is untenable, and I can see if a middle ground's not found, which some things you just can't have a middle ground. But like this could lead to a shooting war. Like this is something that is just so unreconcilable between the two sides that I just don't know what'll happen from here.
It's sad that, when you look at why these people joined the political religion that joined, they're usually doing it for the same reason. Again, like their life is shit and they're looking for someone to tell them why. Maybe just so happens that one day someone turned on CNN instead of Fox News. Yeah, I don't remember why we got onto this topic.
I don't remember, but it makes me think of someone that I knew in New York. She was through an old job I had. We became friends, and she was fairly wealthy and hired me for some graphic design work. And I went and visited her at her penthouse apartment on Park Avenue. And I would wake up in the morning and I'd go out and I'd do stuff. And her place was like I felt bad. She was letting me crash in her guest room, and there's stuff everywhere, and I'd help tidy. I'd go out, I'd so and she would wake up at like 11 in the afternoon, sit down on the couch, start watching CNN, order DoorDash, breakfast at noon, DoorDash gets there, continues to watch CNN, dinner she got DoorDash 3 times a day and like never left her apartment. She had no reason to, because she had money, and politics was her entire identity because there was nothing else. Like, you don't really have friends, you've got money, you spend all day. And she was probably in her late 30s, early 40s. And it was just, there's so many people like that. There's so many people like that. And I feel like a lot of the reason that we, I say I've never met like a Trump supporter here, like a hardcore mega person or like a hardcore liberal. And I think it's because, again, we're going out and meeting people who have hobbies, so they're well-rounded. Like, they're somewhat normal people. They aren't going to get caught up in an identity. Whereas the people that do get really radicalized by political takes, their lifestyles are a little less healthy.
No, absolutely. And
yeah, I'm sure there's exceptions to that.
Again, I think this is an overused trope, but like the average blue and white voters are more, blue and red voters are more similar than they are different, right?
Horseshoe theory.
And like, I think specifically in that they are as similarly miserable as each other.
I think so too.
And that this process does not bring them fulfillment.
I think the cause is interchangeable.
Yeah.
I'm going to, if I agree or I disagree with someone, I don't think that changes whether I think that they are too into politics or not, or like they're too set up in their own side. I've seen it, like people who are fairly close to me, it's like one day they're anti-war, the next thing it's like, oh, well, it's actually a good thing because because news says that it is. Or
Yes, because both of these people are still getting their why externally. They're still being told. And this plastic god of our creation, unlike the real, like the omnipotent being that our traditional religion constructs, this political man-made religion is susceptible to all the worst part of humanity.
Yeah, and we're seeing that in real time.
Yeah, it's not shaped by a higher principle. Try as they might, but this will not be fulfillment.
It's just chasing a high that or like a self-actualization.
Yes, that will never happen. You're trying to look for it in the wrong places.
Yes. Go to church, find Christ.
Dude, literally. Like, I think that, a lot of very accomplished scientists and biologists, they're very devout Christians.
Yeah. I've noticed that, actually.
Yeah, because I think there's some sort of a compartmentalization. It's that their work is to understand the how, but they do not look for the why from their work, from their profession. They look for the why from elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that.
And again, Bible reading listener could correct me on this, but I don't think principally...
We'll get Ethan to come out.
I don't think principally understanding science, understanding how it's done, does not necessarily mean that it has to rebut why it's done.
I agree. The two do not have to be mutually exclusive at all.
Right?
Yeah, I strongly agree with you.
Yeah, and who was it? Newton, Darwin, Copernicus. These people are all like very accomplished theologians too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So whereas I think nowadays we like a lot of the more radical apologists like say that try to use the scripture to say that hey, actually science is wrong. I think that's ridiculous. I think
me too. I think it's the engagement bait. Like it's it's fucking engagement bait or a grift. Which, an engagement bait is a grift.
Yeah. Dude, like a pastor with a fucking private jet? Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. I won't even start to talk about Christchurch, but I'm not a fan. They're not as bad as some. They're not like some of the mega churches down south or whatever. But
yeah, a religious leader owning $20 million private jet is... But yeah, no, again, I don't think religion's role should change and has changed in this world.
Yes. Like, elaborate. Sorry, I just kind of said yes blindly because I do on my surface agree, but I want you to explain your take.
Like I mentioned, right, before Enlightenment, in the medieval time, religion is the omnipotent umbrella that covers all aspects of your life. But now that I think is undeniable that through the scientific process, we can explain how in a way that makes sense and in a way that is testable, in a way that is repeatable and falsifiable. We can prove things a lot better with the scientific method than we can with religion. The part of religion that needs to be preserved and needs to be preached is that throughout human history, right, religion evolved with us. And that is an excellent tool to explain the unexplainable, things that we will never get to know, like these sort of existential problems. I think that should be the role of religion in the post-industrial, post-enlightenment society, instead of trying to fight science on the how.
Yes. Should go hand in hand, should not oppose each other as much as...
I think this is the first time I preface this. Putting myself in a devout Christian's shoe, don't you think that all these intricate mechanism strengthens your belief instead of weakens it?
Yeah, if anything, it's like the grand design of how it all happens, like how it goes together, how it... Sorry, go on. I kind of lost myself in the sauce there.
Yeah. I am of the belief that true belief, true devotion only strengthens in clash of ideas.
I think so as well. Like I've never liked the idea of an echo chamber. Like people should just be their own person. People should not ascribe themselves to a label. Like,
yeah, well, that has gone off course.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah, we're over 2 hours, like well over 2 hours now. I feel like I should at least, before we wrap up, vindicate you a little bit. You can talk about guns now.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Dude, that...
You can give me shit for liking a Glock 19 more than my Staccato.
Yeah, dude, what the fuck was that?
I shoot it better. I like it more.
What?
I like it more. I like my Glock 19 more than my Staccato.
Yeah.
which is definitely because I shoot it more. I'm sure, like, if I put the time and effort in, like, obviously, you'll get a marginal benefit. But like, remember that video we saw of like Tony Wong shooting a Glock 26 at a GM level?
Yeah, no,
it's the arrow, not the Indian. That's the other way around. You know what I mean?
Like, at least from my observation, my hardcore competition friend, they don't talk about guns.
Yeah, they don't. Like, you look who wins. It's like Shadow 2, Block 17.
I go out to dinner with like my fucking GM and master friends. Like, we don't talk about guns. We talk about
it's worth
shit.
saying Frank is a very good USPSA shooter, and to get him on, I'm just like, hey, we're not going to talk about USPSA at all. This is not enough.
No, I am only a lowly 82% A class. All right, I am a below average good shooter.
Remember, like, the average for USPSA versus the average for, like, and we talked about this, like, standard gun owner, you are already 99.999th percentile.
Yeah, I think if, like, something to the effect of, if you have a USPSA membership, you're like top 0.4%. Yeah, you're like the 0.4% of a gun owning population.
Yeah. And that's if you fucking show up.
That's another thing that I sometimes struggle with, is that I can't just like enjoy something, right? I have to like...
I will say, I give you a lot of shit for this. And I promise it's with love. It's with love.
Yes. And I just think that being average is boring. Like, someone introduced themselves to me like, I'm just an average guy. I'm like, let me translate that for you. You're just saying that you're a boring guy. And I can't live with that.
I am inclined to agree with that. Yeah, like, I understand the competitiveness thing. I suffer from it a little bit as well, which is why I limit myself very much. Dude, I don't even play like multiplayer games. Like, I can't in my entire life. This is not something I just started now. I won't even fucking play Call of Duty.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like. I shot a couple, matches down in the valley, and I'm like, okay, like, I've vindicated myself, and I still don't enjoy this.
Oh yeah, by the way, Australian friend, I don't know if I can say her name or not.
Alcoholic.
Yes, my dear Australian friend, I'm trying to say this in a way that you understand. Oi, mate.
Oi,
you cunt.
Yeah. How about that shrimp on the barbie? I can't do Australian.
You show up next time, right? We're gonna take a box of ammo. And we got I can't do this.
Went British. You went British.
Yes, dude, it's so minute. I can't do this. But yeah, dude, we'll take a case of ammo. We're gonna put you through like a day of practice, and we're gonna like take you to an actual match.
Yes, I think that's a good idea, because we took him to the little like IDPA match, and
yeah,
he was here for like 4 days. There were no USPSA matches going on. I think he would really like that. But yeah, definitely like that day to warm up, because we took him in cold. We didn't have time to go shoot, and my car was broken down. And I was working. Like, we didn't plan to have him over. So we took him to that match cold with no practice. We should warm him up, and I think that's a great idea. I'll go with you or not. It's up to you.
Dude, if you shoot a match, if you have a practice score account, you have just completely and utterly doxed yourself.
Yes, I noticed. I kept very, very bare. Kind of for that reason.
Yes. Guns, go dry fire, dude. If you're listening to this podcast, go to your nearest place where you can pull your gun out and just dry fire.
There's a lot of places. Your nearest.
Yes. No, I obviously do it in a safe manner, which that will not get your police called on. This is a disclaimer for myself.
But yes, dry fire is important. I say that, and I haven't been dry firing much lately. I am doing the forearm physio, though, and it's been helping. I've been doing it this whole time, dude. With my little TheraBand.
Yeah. My PT has been a lot of forearm strength work.
Yes. Reverse curls. I think that's a good idea. If you're listening to this, you probably know I dry fired so much I gave myself like a chronic tendon injury.
Yeah, I did that too. If I have like a too long of a day shooting, like my left hand wouldn't be pain, but they'll be a little bit tense.
Yeah, likewise. Like I shot a course with ARC. American Reconstruction Concepts a couple weeks ago, and after 200 rounds, all the grip strength just left my right hand. Even doing this physio, I feel it, like that tendon going up to my elbow. It's fucked. Way better than it used to be, though. Yeah,
the same here. Like I was at a point where if I grip a gun, I would just be like in pain, and yeah, just forearm strength work, man.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. On that note, my advice, I guess, is go to the gym. I'm going to go do that right now after I walk the dogs.
Yes. Go dry fire. Go dry fire at your gym.
I think that's a great idea. especially right in front of the glass doors.
Yes.
Overlooking the parking lot. There's a guy there that's often there at night. He just like rides his bicycle there, and he's just there for like 4 hours. Yes. I don't know what he does. He's like the gym guardian. It's like an old fella. He just watches his phone in the corner. I don't think he's a pervert, but he might be.
Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, I think. Anyways, yeah, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up, any other advice, or like, because you kind of skipped over and you just gave the dad advice immediately, so I'm going to say fuck you and make you do one more.
Oh, I'm not a dad, so
you've got 2 dogs. You're a dad.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, dog dad advice: socialize your puppy early.
Yes.
Socialize your puppy early. I know that there's obviously don't take your puppy to like high risk area if it's not fully vaccinated. Take them and like go to busy areas. Go to like, have you all seen those videos of like people desensitizing your horse and just doing like the goofiest shit?
No, actually.
Oh, dude, you should look it up. Like people just like one video I saw was with an umbrella, and this it was like just tying the horse to like a post and just opening umbrella, and the horse would freak the fuck out. It was so funny.
Is that just to like kind of like get rid of the stress response?
Yeah, because like horses are very, very timid creatures.
Yeah, which makes sense. They're a prey animal.
And I don't understand how like at one point in history we wrote those things into battle. But like, or another video I saw where the guy put like a tarp in front of the horse, and the horse stepped on it and just freaked out and just jumped. Yeah. So yeah, do that to your puppy.
Just like get them used to the stress response.
Yeah.
Kind of
as early as you feasibly could. You know, nobody wants a fucking rabid little hellspawn
unsocialized monster.
Yeah.
Like my neighbor's dog.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. For mine, I'm just going to echo you, Frank. Eat, go dry fire. Don't trust the government. Don't trust big tech. Don't trust big pharma. Go to church, I guess, or not. You do you. Yeah. Thank you for coming on again. I will probably see you in the next couple days, and we'll go shoot guns.
Sure, dude. We should go out and drill a little bit.
Yeah, I'm down. I'll probably use my 22 because I'm poor.
Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah. Anyways, okay, bye.